Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So you probably got to this video because you are doing extensive research on where to work in Vietnam. I remember it being just so overwhelming because there are so many different opportunities here to work. But because there are so many opportunities, you have the upper hand on picking a company that suits you personally. You may be here to save money for traveling, or you may be here because you want to push yourself further in your teaching career, or you may want to find something in between the two. So I know this is going to be a lengthy video, but it will save you a lot of time in searching like I did. But by the end of this video, hopefully you have a better idea on where to apply and the sort of company you want to work for. Also, as you probably noticed already, the sun is in and out between the clouds because it is rainy season. So I do apologise if the lighting is up and down in this video. What are you gonna do? It's rainy season. So I will mention 6 companies in this video, and I will leave a timestamp here for all of the companies which I will talk about, and I'll also leave them in the description down below. Make sure you stay to the end of this video because I will be talking finally about the place where I work, and I can offer you the best insight a person can to a job because I work here. But the other companies that I'll talk about are the ones that I've had interviews for, and also ones that my friends have worked at, so they also have first-hand experience. But yeah, sorry for that long introduction. Let's get into the first job. So the first job is Wall Street English. So first off, I had an interview here and I did actually reject the offer in the end because of the type of job it was and that it just didn't fit me personally. I also didn't agree with the type of teaching they do, which I will talk about. The interview that I had was the most difficult out of all of the interviews that I've had whilst being here, and that is because the first interview was an hour long, just getting to know the manager and getting shown around the place, and then a few days later I was offered a second interview where I had to teach a 45-minute lesson, and then I had another one-to-one first interview for about 45 minutes after that. The salary that I was offered sounds really high for Vietnam, but when you actually work it out per hour, it is the lowest out of all the companies I'm going to talk about. So the salary was 42 million for 2 3-hour lessons a day over a 5-day period. But you had to stay at the centre between 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the evening, even though you were only teaching for 2 3-hour lessons. So with that, the teaching salary works out at $15 an hour. But when you work it out with the hours that you have to spend in there, which are unpaid, it works out at $10 an hour, and that is before tax. I should say though that the benefits are really good. You get your visa and work permit, health insurance and bike insurance, and the criminal record check, all paid for. Also your certificate, oh my god, why can I not say that word? So before you start working in Vietnam, you have to get your certificates certified. This is also reimbursed, which is really good. So the reason I applied for this job is because it is the only big company in Vietnam that only teaches adults. And because I'd just done the CELTA course, I was used to teaching adults. I enjoyed teaching adults, but the way that this company works, it kind of seemed to me like a conveyor belt. So first of all, the students had to do a minimum of 8 hours of online teaching, basically just pre-made PowerPoints on the computers in the centre. And then during this, they can go and talk with Vietnamese teachers where they will learn grammar. And then after that, they will take a test which will confirm whether they are eligible to go in and be taught by a foreign teacher. So that's where our job comes in, and basically all you're doing for 3 hours is teaching them pronunciation and fluency. But yeah, I just did not like that type of job, so I rejected the offer. So as I mentioned before, there are jobs that cater towards people that want to just be here to save money for travelling, which means a high salary but low admin and lesson planning. So Apax definitely falls into this. I had a Skype interview with them and it was pretty easy, but even though I was offered the job, the type of job that it was, again, that's the reason why I rejected it. The salary that I was offered was the highest salary out of all the interviews that I had, and that was 32.6 million a month, plus a 3.2 million to substitute towards your housing, and that was just for 20 hours of teaching a week. So with those two added up, that actually works out at just under $20 an hour. You also get a 25 million startup bonus, which covers the cost of your certified certificates, visas, work permits, the criminal record check, but the only thing is you do have to pay this back in full if you don't work there for a full year. So the type of work is the issue that I had with this job, and that was because the lesson plans were pre-made, which can be good because you don't have the extra unpaid time to do these lesson plans, but it means also you cannot alter them in any way. Personally, I want to push myself as a teacher. I want to expand my personal experience, and I also want to do lesson plans that cater towards my students, because I did read online that some lesson plans that are pre-made are really boring, which means then students become unmotivated and they don't want to do it. But yeah, overall the salary is really good, the benefits are good, but the type of work just was not for me, but maybe it is for you. So the third one is British Council. This is where all the good teachers are at, supposedly. So as for the salary, this is the best salary that you can be offered in the whole of Vietnam, but for a company that is this big. The base hourly rate is $35 an hour, and also this can increase based on your own experience and obviously how long you've worked there. But because the salary is so high, it is very competitive and it is a hard job to try and get yourself into. So the requirements for this job are at least 2 years experience, a bachelor degree, which is mainly needed for all jobs in Vietnam anyway, a CELTA certificate, and also summer school experience. So the application I did actually go for, and I did end up applying under the impression that I had no chance of getting this job, which I didn't because they never got back to me. But the application process is very lengthy, even though I didn't even get to an interview or a reply back at all. But if you do fall under these requirements, I definitely think it's worth applying for, especially for $35 an hour. That's definitely my goal. Maybe I'll work there one day. But unfortunately for this job, I cannot talk about benefits because I have no idea what they are. I don't know anyone that works at British Council, and I don't work there, and I never had an interview, so yeah, sorry about that. But if you know anyone that works there, please leave a comment down below because I am very curious. And the fourth on this list is VUS. My friend works here and she absolutely loves it. The hourly rate is $18 an hour, and that is after tax. So whatever you get in your salary, that is the amount that you will get, and you don't have to pay tax because that is all sorted out through VUS, which I think is amazing. It takes that pressure off of you to try and work out the tax system at the end of the year. So in terms of benefits with this job, you do have to pay for your criminal record check, your visa and your work permit, but this is refunded to you after you've worked there for a year. You are refunded 5.5 million. so I'm not sure if that actually covers the whole cost of it, but yeah, you get an extra 5.5 million at the end of the year, which is very nice. So at VUS, they offer you a 3-day workshop. So basically teacher training for younger children. However, compared to the company which I work for, this is unpaid, which it kind of sucks because it is a very lengthy workshop. It is a full day, well, full 3 days. But at least you get the training, because that is obviously very important. So the type of work VUS is, from what my friend has told me, is that you get given physical books where then you have to make the lesson plans from. This is really good to push yourself as a teacher because you have to make all of your lesson plans from scratch. Obviously, when you have worked there for a longer period, lesson planning with any job becomes a lot easier. But the thing is with VUS, as me and my friend was talking about, the downfall is that you can't access other teachers' lesson plans to gain ideas and games, things like that from other teachers. I mean, you can ask them, but I mean, it's easier just to be able to steal their slides. Also, the other thing about working for VUS is that the lessons are 3 hours long, and personally this is something I find quite difficult to do because at the company I work for, the lessons are 2 hours. But I did work summer school this year and the lessons were 3 hours, and sometimes it is just a little bit too much. But then working 3 hours, you can really add up your hours for that month, which is pretty good. So the next job I'm going to talk about is Apollo. I am just going to briefly go over this one because I don't know anyone that works here and I've not had an interview for them either. Although I was offered an interview, but I ended up rejecting it because of the location of where it was, and also I had got my job where I work now already, so yeah. But the experience that I do have with Apollo is I did my CELTA course here. So during the CELTA we were actually told about the benefits and the salary briefly whilst we were on the course. So if you do end up doing the CELTA here, it is really good. I'm going to do a whole other video on my CELTA experience. But if you work for Apollo within 1 month after your course ends, you do get 50% of your CELTA course refunded, which is really good. But the thing is with that, it was on a full-time contract, and back then I didn't want to go straight into full-time, and also there wasn't a centre which was near me. So the benefits are that you get your health insurance and bike insurance, visas and work permit and criminal record check, and the certified certificates paid for, which is really good. They definitely talked about the benefits way more when we had that talk, because I think the benefits are really good for this company compared to what the salary is that they're offering, as they didn't really like to mention that. But as I did do my CELTA here, I know that it is a very credible company. The lessons are 2 hours long, making it a little bit easier compared to the US to plan for. However, if you're living in Ho Chi Minh City, there are less Apollo centres compared to Hanoi. So I think if you do work in Hanoi, then Apollo is definitely worth applying for because there are so many more centres, you have more options to transfer, and you're more likely to get a centre which is close to where you live. So finally, I am talking about the company where I work at, and that is ILA, or ILA to the Vietnamese. So as this is where I work, I can give a full insight into this company, maybe shake off a few rumours that I read previously to working here that I found online. So for the interview, I honestly think that this was the best interview that I have ever had in my whole entire life. Mainly because it was so casual, and compared to my friends that also work at ILA, their interview was not the same as mine, so I really think it depends on where your centre is. So basically for my interview, my manager had just had a baby with his Vietnamese wife. So basically we just talked about having mixed babies in Vietnam for a whole hour. But from other centres, from what my friends have said, you are given time to plan a lesson and then you just have to present it or talk through it with the manager. which is still a lot easier than having to actually do a lesson, because I understand that is so nerve-wracking. You are in front of a classroom with loads of students that you don't know, and managers are sat at the back assessing you. So the starting salary at ILA is $18.50 an hour, which is obviously a little bit lower than, say, Apax, but you do get a 7-day teacher training program, which is fully paid. So when you start, your first salary is very nice. So as for the benefits, you get your health insurance, bike insurance, visas and work permit paid for. And you do get a slight reimbursement of your certified certificates. I can't remember how much it was that was reimbursed, but it was not all of it. Oh, also I know that when you apply, when you're not living here, you do get 5 days of accommodation paid for in a hotel. And I think you get a certain percentage of your flights paid for as well, which I'm sure Apollo does that as well. So like VUS, you do get books that you have to make your lesson plans from. But the difference is that we upload these on our own Google Drive, and they are shared across every single person that works at ILA, and that's all centres throughout the whole country. So there are so many lesson plans and there's so many ideas on the drive. You can search for game ideas and different activities that you can do with your students, which I think is really good. ILA is also really good for your professional development as a teacher. They do require you to do 12 workshops for the first year that you work there, and these are unpaid, which is a little bit unmotivating, but you do have to do them. And also, like, it's helping you professionally as well, so it's worth it through the experience that you get from it. So the main students at ILA are children, so you are likely to be working during the evenings and long weekends. But they do partner with public schools as well, so if you do prefer to work during the day, then this is also an option. Although I don't know if I want to work in a public school just yet, because it is about 50 students that you have to teach, and I don't know. If any of you guys work in public schools, let me know your experience down below. I am also teaching adults at ILA as well, just once a week, and you do have the opportunity to teach maths as well. So ILA is a really good company if you want to expand your teaching career. Okay, so I mentioned that there were a few rumours online that I read before I started working for ILA. So what used to happen is that you got a base salary of 78 hours a month. So if you worked under 78 hours, then you still got the 78 hours salary paid for, but you had to make up the hours the following month, which is really annoying when you go on holiday or you go travelling, because then you have to make up that month's 78 hours and work more hours from the ones that you missed the previous month. So they actually reduced that 78 hours to 60 hours, which makes it so much better. So a negative thing about working at ILA is that you don't get holiday pay, which is really annoying when you are in a country that you've never been before. You do want to travel, but what they give to you instead is a bonus every 6 months, which it doesn't really cover the hours that you would have missed if you do take all of your unpaid holiday annual leave. But that's one negative thing about working for ILA. So if you are a person watching this video that has the power to change that, please do, because otherwise it would be a perfect company to work for. Oh, also paid workshops, please. Oh, one more thing as well is that if you recommend someone to work at ILA and they are successful at the interview, you do get a bonus. So if you are thinking to apply for ILA, it would mean so much to me for you to put my name down as a recommendation. And if you do have any questions for any of these companies, mainly ILA, or just living in Vietnam in general, how to adjust here. So you can message me privately on Instagram or leave a comment down below. Also, I have so many travel videos throughout Vietnam and throughout Southeast Asia, so don't forget to check those out. I also have a video on how to ride a bike, because you are gonna need a bike if you live in Vietnam. Grabs just, they're crazy. But yeah, I really hope that this video helped. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also give this video a thumbs up because it really helps me out. Yeah, okay, thank you. Bye bye.